안녕하세요. 저는 루이스입니다. 저는 영국에서 왔어요. And then after that, I went to Gimhae. And for this job, it was a strawberry picking.
Oh, yeah.
But I'd never done anything like that.
Yeah.
So for me, it was one of my highlights because it was so different. Yeah, so my name's Lewis. I'm from the UK and I've been in Korea for almost 6 years. And I work in the entertainment industry as an actor and voice actor.
So you explained me that you work as an actor, voice actor,
Yeah.
and broadcaster, and also composer.
More like I do entertainment articles. In Korea these days, more acting, voice acting, and also I write entertainment articles about like different celebrities or different events or music releases. They're like the three main focuses that I have right now. I think recently there's been like 1 or 2 Korean American movies as well, with like some American actors, which has been quite cool. They've been in like The Walking Dead as one of the actors, so like quite big Hollywood names. They've also like been filming in Korea.
Also, can you introduce us some Korean dramas or movies that you're acting?
It's been a movie which I believe will come out later this year called Pig Village. I mean, I had that Doo-suk, the main like Korean actor. There are a few American actors as well. I can't remember his name, but he was in The Walking Dead. So that was quite interesting. It's like a boxing movie, like quite a seedy underground boxing rink, like a legal boxing rink setting. And also I've been on Top 10 Korea Japan, the singing show.
Oh, really?
Not singing,
Yeah.
but just as a judge, which was quite cool. And also on Disney, The North Star.
Yeah. 북극성 in Korean.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Only a small role, but it was quite interesting watching like the edited, how we filmed, edited after. And I think on NBC, Your Splendid Season, that was filmed in Daegu in the summer as well. The setting was like a American university campus, and it had an explosion, and the main actress lost her boyfriend. I think he went deaf, and that was the storyline of that one. I don't think it's being released.
How do you think the differences between Korea and England, how we work and
Right.
how British people work?
I think both have similarities but also differences. I think in the UK things are organised maybe a little bit better, whereas here things seem to be a little bit more last minute, like the bally thing comes into it. But I think in Korea, and why I've stayed here for a while, I quite like the different opportunities that come up. In the UK is more like period dramas, or like a soap opera, rather than like a movie with a Hollywood star or like big Korean celebrity. So yeah, I think they're both similar but also like quite different.
You came to Korea in 2020.
Yeah.
And that was pandemic period.
Yeah.
And how come did you decide to come Korea? Yeah.
So to begin with, in the UK, I was working in an office, like a usual sort of like 9 to 5 job, and then we had lockdown. So we had a thing called furlough. So we were sent home from work. We had like an 80% salary, but not working. And that was for about 3 months. I was looking online, where can I go? And my plan originally was New Zealand. And although I had the visa, the border was shut. And I still wanted to get away. And Korea was the only place still open. So that's why I applied for the working holiday. But I'd been to like China, Japan, Southeast Asia, but never Korea. So I thought, now's a good time to see what Korea is like, and had no expectation of, I didn't know what it would be like. And I think that process was in about 3 weeks. So I didn't know the language, didn't know where I was going to live, what I was going to do for work. So it was all quite exciting but scary. But obviously it's been almost 6 years. The reason I've stayed for as long, I quite like the culture. For me, the work-life balance, also like the different opportunities to like the UK and the people that I meet. and also the Korean food was very good as well. And I was surprised like how beautiful Korea is, like especially outside of Seoul. I like Sokcho. What's the other one? I quite like Yosu in the south. I quite like going to over like Chuseok time. Yeah, it's always quite like relaxing, and the coastline and the mountains. So yeah, I quite like the like nature and the culture sort of side of things.
So you've worked as a working holiday just
Yeah.
when you arrived in Korea. What kind of job did you do at the time?
So to begin with, I took time to just relax and travel, and then so I started in Seoul just as a holiday vacation, and then I went to Daejeon for about maybe 5 or 6 weeks, and it was near, is it Keist University?
Yeah, Keist.
In a language exchange, and then after that I went to Gimhae, and for this job it was a strawberry picking,
Yeah,
but I'd never done anything like that.
yeah.
So for me it was one of my highlights because it was so different to anything I'd done, and it was quite nice being with nature.
So in Gimhae, strawberry picking, were there any other foreigners?
At that time, because it was end of 2020, like December time, it was quite quiet. There was maybe 2 or 3 other foreign people,
Oh, really?
but they'd been here for quite a while, maybe like a student doing it part-time, or other like travelers as well. I think from Brazil and France at that time.
People who live there, except foreigners, they can't speak English, or how did you communicate with them?
So
Yeah.
before coming to Korea, I found a website. It was called Workaway, and they had different opportunities in Korea, like different locations. And I connected with the strawberry farm in Gimhae. So I'd done that for maybe 2 months because I quite enjoyed it. But the person in charge could speak English, and it was like an eco strawberry farm.
Yeah.
So they had a lot of like Korean staff or office staff.
So, which is your best city that you like the most?
For me, I would still probably say Daegu because I spent the longest time, and also compared to Seoul, Daegu's more residential. Everywhere I look around, I could see like a mountain or something like that. So for me, that's better. But sadly, there's not enough like opportunities in Daegu, so hence the commute or move back to Seoul after.
Is there any moment or event during those 6 years that really stands out?
Good question. In terms of work, I'd probably say like more the commercial shoots I've done, because they seem to run a lot smoother and you appear like behind the camera a lot more. There've been some big brands as well. I've also got 3 rescue dogs from Korea, so I've got my own little family now. Also like just people I've met as well, like usually we wouldn't connect, maybe we have different backgrounds or ideas, but you know, we've become friends, or we share like common interest. So yeah, I think, you know, like learning about a different culture while living in a different country has been like the most memorable and rewarding part for me.
You have not many chances to eat Korean food in UK. What was it when you first ate?
Trying Korean food in the UK, I'd not done. However, when I went back last year, I was very surprised. There's a lot of like Korean restaurants in my city, which when I lived there was not. And also like Korean barbecue, and in the UK supermarkets, they have like the fresh like chicken or sandwiches. They've also introduced like gimbap, which again, when I lived in the UK, I don't think I ever seen that. But yeah, in Korea, favorite food maybe bulgogi or samgyeopsal.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I quite like the side dishes
Yeah.
because they all have like a different flavor. That's probably my favorite. I went to Japan last year and they put a small side dish on the table, and I asked for a refill, and when I went to pay, it had like the price
It's
for
not
each
free.
one.
Yeah.
I was surprised because in Korea they're just like service. So I think that's something Korea does very well.
Yeah. In the other hand, what was the biggest culture shock you experienced after coming Korea?
I probably got two.
Yeah.
First one is the like hierarchy. I feel like in the UK, although you respect like older people, you sort of like earn each other's respect. So it's sort of like a two-way street. But in Korea, I feel like it's a bit more expected rather than like a mutual thing.
Yeah.
So that's probably one. And also recycling. I thought I was good at recycling, but I opened my eyes when I came here because everything has its own set box or system. So I was told off a few times by the apartment manager for not putting things in the right place. But yeah, I've got used to it now. So when I went back to England last year, my dad told me that I'm very good at recycling.
How do you see the future of the Korean entertainment industry?
Ooh, and which is why I'm still here. But I think the reason why K cultures become quite popular is mainly sort of like with big idol groups, maybe like Blackpink or BTS, NCT, but also like I mentioned earlier, Squid Game, when that was shown in the UK and like in the US, it sort of like blew up. Like everyone was interested in, oh, what's Korea, and like therefore like K-beauty, K-food, K-pop, everything sort of like exploded, which is why a lot of like people are interested in Korea now, maybe than they were like 5 years ago.
It becoming more and more popular, the K culture. So that means you also have more opportunity than before because you working as an actor in Korea. Do you think you also have more chances working in the Korean entertainment industry?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I have noticed there's been a lot more money and like investment in the Korean entertainment industry from like big names like Netflix or Disney. So I think there'll definitely be more opportunities, and like especially over the last sort of like 18 months, it's been very busy with different opportunities compared to say 3 or 4 years ago. You might have like a quiet period over January or February, whereas now it's still very consistent. And I mentioned like the Vietnamese movie or like Hollywood actors coming, like Eric Roberts, done the movie like maybe 2 years ago. So like big names are also coming here. So I think because of the things that have happened in Hollywood, like the strikes and protest, more money from say the US market has come into Korea to like produce entertainment related content. Definitely, I think there's a show in the UK, I don't know if you know, called Gogglebox.
Oh yeah.
So it films people sat at home on a sofa and they'll watch set programs, and it films their reaction to the programs, and I watch it from YouTube. But there's been a few like Korean shows appeared on there. So for me, living here as a Brit, it's quite interesting to watch other British people watching the Korean show. I think like maybe Singles Inferno was on there, and The Chef quite recently. That also appeared on Gogglebox.
Oh really?
So yeah, it's quite interesting like watching the reactions.
There be some friends or families in UK still. What do your friends or family back in the UK find most surprising about your life in Korea? There would be some good things or bad things, but when you talk about that.
So my brother has come out to visit me and some friends a couple of times, and it's not somewhere they might have come if I was not here, but they all really liked it. And my brother's coming back this time with his girlfriend in end of February. But one of the biggest shocks is like how safe everything is in Korea. I was surprised when I first came, walking through like a park or museum and seeing a laptop left, and I was like, where is the person? Because in the UK you wouldn't do that, it would be taken. So it's quite nice here. Even I leave like my bag or my phone if I go and order something or go to the bathroom. So I think safety. Also, like when I first came, I had no job. I didn't know what I would be doing. Maybe it would just be 1 year and go back. But I think my family are quite proud of like seeing 6 years later how my life has turned out. Like I've got the dogs, I've got a nice apartment, I've got a car and things like that. So they can see that I've like got better opportunities here than I might still in the UK.
Yeah. You said about the safety in Korea.
Yeah.
Because we in cafe we put our phone on the table
Right.
to show people that it's my seat. So you're familiar with that kind of safety right now?
Now,
Yeah.
yeah, to the point in England, I've left stuff and I'm like, no, I should go back and take that and maybe leave like a jacket or something instead. But yeah, if I left my phone in a coffee shop, sadly, it would be taken. Yeah. I felt okay walking, having my phone out. But in England, I'd maybe like turn around, is there someone behind, or I should keep my phone in my pocket, which is sad, but sadly, that's just...
What do you miss about UK? Like food, or there will be many things in hometown.
Alright, so food, probably a roast dinner, or like a full English breakfast, or a pie, and maybe the three things. I miss the fresh air. The air I find in Korea can be like the yellow dust, and in winter very dry, so I miss like the freshness, and also maybe like the humor. I try and tell jokes sometimes, and sadly they're not understood, and I have to explain the joke, and then if I explain it, it's not funny anymore. So I think British humor is quite dry. So yeah, I quite miss the humor side of things.
British people, they can understand, right?
Say with an American and a Brit, the humor is very different. So I think it only works maybe with like a British person, or maybe someone from like Denmark. It's still similar.
Actually, Korean people know about UK football.
A lot of kids, if I see them, like maybe I'm taking out the recycling, or like just walking around, because I walk my dogs quite often. People are say, "Oh, hi" to the dogs, and then maybe have a conversation. But also like taxi drivers, "Oh, where are you from? Oh, do you know like Son Heung-min?" or things like that. So I think it's like a conversation starter.
So you lived here about 6 years, so know about Korean culture or Korean people better than before. You think foreigners misunderstand about Korea?
Oh, good question. I think maybe so I thought when I first came, I would find it very difficult here because I came quite quickly and I didn't know the language. I didn't know anything about Korea, so I thought it's going to be quite difficult. I need to learn or the language, or it might be quite difficult to get around like on the subway or on a taxi or something like that. But I think because Korea is sort of opening up to like foreign visitors or workers is a lot easier now than it was in the past. Like at the subway station, the announcement might be in English, or the sign. My Korean is not great, so even though I don't have a good Korean level, I don't find it too difficult to like converse with someone. I have a basic level, but even like translation or by showing or something like that, I think is quite universal language. And not language, but like body language or translating and things like that. So I think you don't need like a high level of the language before coming, and maybe misunderstand like the etiquette with like eating, and maybe like pouring your own drink. Because in England, if we go for drinks, there'd be no food. We would just have, I don't know, a beer, and maybe I would drink, you would drink, I might go and get another drink, something like that. But in Korea, it's like still two hands, pour a drink, or if the person's younger, I think, right, you turn away to eat. And also with like eating, in the UK, a lot of meals are just single meals. And I still think one of the biggest things for new people coming to Korea is like the sharing of food, because in Europe is not very common, like taking some food. But now I'm used to it, and I think it works better personally.
What kind of life do you want to live from now on?
I think for me, I obviously want to still become more successful in what I'm doing and have like bigger opportunities in the entertainment industry. And I think also like perfecting like the culture and Korean language. I'd like to become better at that. Maybe like over the next year. That's my goal for this year.
What does living in Korea means to Luis Upper?
I think for me, living in Korea means like a different opportunity and different hope, and also like a good life change. So I think for me it came at the right time. So I hope to continue having good experiences in Korea this year.